I'm Jill.
And I'm Rhonda.
And we're at the Ford City Community Park on Founders Day to answer your questions about Ford City.
Everything you wanted to know and more. So this is the main guy. This is John V. Ford.
I like John.
John founded Ford City and Pittsburgh Plate and Glass.
He was born November 11th, 1811.
And he died May 1st, 1903. And just this past spring, Jill and I found his grave.
The Allegheny Cemetery in Lawrenceville. And at the time when he died, it was the largest mausoleum that was built on the cemetery grounds.
And it actually was the first private mausoleum.
Question number 1 comes from Nance in Vandergrift. What is the best restaurant in Ford City? I'm standing in front of the best restaurant in Ford City, Miller's Hokies. Amanda from Sunnyside, Orchid Tanning, asks, why is cookieware called Cookie?
Because he really is a good cook. Julie, a former Ford City resident, asks, are there any haunted locations in Ford City?
Hi, we're with Kami at her house on 4th Avenue. Another one of these haunted attraction houses. Not really an attraction, but anything cool happening lately?
Where my doorbell is hooked up to my front door, and there's 2 different doorbell rings that goes off. There's a cathedral ring that does the 8 chimes. That doorbell is not hooked up to anything in the house. It just goes off randomly. Our other doorbell is just the normal 2-ding doorbell, and it goes off in the middle of the night. It goes off at midnight, at 2 o'clock in the morning, and things like that. But
So what's the history of the house?
this house, from what my mother-in-law tells me, was an old funeral home.
Ah, that might explain a lot.
In addition to Kami's haunted house, we also have the CU Club, which I've heard several accounts from people saying they've seen apparitions and people talking in the upstairs dining hall.
And also, we have some haunted attractions in my family as well. This is one of the haunted attractions in Ford City. This is actually the site of my grandmother's homestead. Her and her entire family lived here. There's a sordid tale, which will be for another day, but some bad things happened in this house, and to this day that they say that there are some ghosts that frequent the place, and it has a lot of history.
Melissa asks, how did Dogtown get its name? From what I've understood, several people have said that when Dogtown was first built, the houses were all built for the company people from the Ford City China factory, and basically everyone had a dog. Every single house had a dog.
And woohoo! We love dogs! Melissa, another former Ford City resident, asks, which house is the oldest standing house in Ford City?
This is what we believe to be the oldest house in Ford City.
It is technically in Manor Township right now, but during the days in the beginning, this was actually considered Ford City Borough. So from what our research has told us, this is
it.
Mrs. Crappy from Pittsburgh asks, why are the fireworks shot off from the cliffs?
Well,
it's not actually the cliffs, it's the football field, which is in Ford Cliff, which is, the football field is actually in Ford City, but most people call that Ford Cliff. But what do you say, Jill?
well, the only thing I can figure is that was the highest central location that had a wide enough area in case something would happen to go wrong with the firework that, you know, most of Ford City could see would be the football field.
I think it's a perfect location. And I don't know who came up with it, but Padre Tom Habrowski always is in charge of setting those off, so my guess is he probably came up with that idea.
Kudos to Padre.
Marianne from Ford City asks, what movies were filmed in this area? Well, according to Wikipedia, there are two. Night of the Living Dead, which we really can't find any reference that it was actually filmed here.
But rumors have always been that they've been out by the back nine of the golf course now, or if you go out Guthrie Road, you can access Fairway Street. Back in the woods, supposedly that's where it was filmed.
But Ford City was definitely in the movie as part of the emergency broadcast, I believe.
You were supposed to go to the Ford City Library, which is, or I'm sorry, the Ford City Post Office,
which is right across the street.
Us.
And then most recently we had My Bloody Valentine 3D. This is the Ford City Police Station where the movie My Bloody Valentine 3D was filmed. And Jensen Eccles walked right across the street to this spot, right where Jill is standing filming this, where his vehicle was parked.
This next question comes from Julie Mensch from Pittsburgh. She wants to know who is the current teacher with the most seniority at Ford City High School. Well, Julie, I've called Mrs. Segola in the office to ask her today, and she said that Gary Slagle is the oldest teacher with the most seniority, and he's been there, we're figuring in about at least 30 years.
He's older than dirt. And personally, I think if you look at him, he looks like a Kris Kringle.
He looks like a cartoon character.
Yes.
I'm standing in front of Ford City Junior Senior High School, which opened in the fall of 1909, 100 years ago.
In 1984, I stood in this exact spot on the cannon for my Most School Spirit photo for the yearbook with a douchebag. But this is our Ford City cannon. It has many, many, many coats of paint on it. Students from our rival school, Katanning down the road, would always come and paint it red and white, and we would paint it purple and gold every year. My guess is there's probably about 50 coats of paint on here. We love our cannon.
My mother always says that the real cannon was only a little miniature, but there's so many coats of paint that this is how it's gotten to be.
And this is where Grunt's Lake used to be, until somebody took it for their own private enjoyment at their camp. Rhonda Keybook dislikes this.
Stanley's Bar and Grill.
Our final question is, where is the best place to watch the Ford City Heritage Days 4th of July Parade?
524 Fifth Avenue.
This is it.
The home